Imagine a room full of builders. Everyone has hammer, nails, and wood. Now one person walks in with a crane. They are not just faster, they are playing a totally different game. While other people can build chairs, tables, and cupboard, this new person can build skyscrapers. That crane is Claude Code. Claude Code has completely changed the game of how we write code and build applications. With this amazing AI tool, anyone can code. You don't need to have a technical background. In this beginner-friendly tutorial, I am going to first build personal finance application using Claude Code. We'll walk through all the necessary steps and then we will see how you can use it on a large code base. All right, let's get started. Let's go ahead and set things up. In Google, type Claude Code subscription and go to this plans and pricing page. You have this free version of claude.ai, which is ChatGPT-like chatbot. But if you want to write code, which is this option, it will open this particular UI. For this, you need $17 plan. If your usage is heavy, you need more tokens, then you can go ahead with $100 plan. Let's start with $17 plan. And if you want to build something complex, you can always upgrade it to max plan. Now, folks, you can write code here, but this UI doesn't show you a preview. Let's say if you're building a mobile app or any complex software, it will not show you a preview. Therefore, I like VS Code personally. If you are a programmer, you will have VS Code installed on your computer. Okay, so let's create a folder here. In my C code directory, I'm going to go and I will just create a folder called personal finance. We are going to build a personal finance app, okay, and open that folder here. So I will open that folder here. All right, personal finance, select that folder. It is an empty folder and I'm going to now install the plugin. Okay, so let's click on this extension icon and here type in Claude Code. So there is a plugin that you can install to get Claude Code here. Okay, so just install this particular plugin. I already installed it. So in my case, I will see this particular icon here. You might have to restart your VS Code, but let's click on this and let's start Claude Code here. So it simply ran this Claude command and I have Claude ready to accept my commands. Okay, so the setup is done. Other than this terminal, it also gives you this native chat where you can type in your questions. So I'm going to use native chat only. Let's go ahead and now install a software called Whisperflow. Whisperflow is a software that lets you convert your audio into text. And when it comes to AI first coding, I don't want to type too much. Okay, so I have installed it, by the way. I'm going to give my requirements. Please build a simple personal finance application. Before building it, give me requirements. Let's brainstorm. I want to keep the application very simple. It should be web application. And let's not add any complex features. Very simple applications. Okay, so you see it converted my audio into text. When I type that in, now it will take my instructions and it will brainstorm with me on what exactly I want to build. So see, you have a feature to add transactions, mark as income expense, delete a transaction, dashboard, categories, transaction list, and so on. We are going to leave out all this. Now, folks, we can do all of this, but it's a tutorial and if you have limited token in $17 subscription plan, so that is the reason I'm going ahead with simple application. You can also create a requirement document. So I will say, can you create a PRD document, product requirement document first? So product requirement document, if you are a software engineer, you will know already. It's basically a list of your requirements, then database schema, etc. it is something that you prepare before you start writing code. What I like to do personally is lock my requirements and my brainstorming sessions into PRD file so that later on, if I want to go back to my original stage and start all over again, at least my product ideas, etc. is locked into this particular document. Okay. It will keep on asking this kind of questions. Like you can just say yes, 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 and it will continue doing its work. Okay. So prd.md file has been created. You can click on this and see here you see the file. Okay. So it's a markdown file. Any file which is MD file is essentially a markdown file. And what it is containing is, see, this is the problem statement, target users. These are the features you are building, summary dashboard, categories, and so on. Okay. Now, it will also contain database schema sometimes. So here it is asking you some clarifying questions. If you build a software using a software developer, they will ask you this clarifying questions. Okay. So here it is saying balance, show all time total or just the current month's net. So you can say, see, I answered all the questions. All right. My PRD is updated. Now I want to start building. And for this, I will ask it again using Whisperflow. Start building, implement features one by one. Once you build a feature, I would like to test and verify it. Okay. Now, folks, I like to do this because once I started building a complex application and I built a huge PRD and I said, build the whole thing, it spent a lot of time in building it and then it was not working. So the lesson I learned is it is better that you build iteratively so that it builds something, you verify it and make sure it is up to your expectation. Then you build the next feature. This way you will avoid these unintended bugs as well. And overall, you'll be wasting less tokens of your Claude subscription. Now see, it has created this to-do list. Okay. It is working on all this. And feature 1 is implemented. Then it will work on feature 2 and so on. Okay. So now this one is ready. You can click on this. So see, I have this index.html. It's some simple HTML file. Here I can add, let's say, expense. So let's say I went out for lunch or dinner, whatever. Okay, today's date, food and drink, you can say, okay. Add some description, save the transaction, and your transaction is saved. Okay, you can change these categories as well, shopping. All right, this is working okay. So I will say that, yes, let's build. Now, of course, you will build step by step, but I'm going to fast track things. So I will say that let's implement all other features. In real life, you will build step by step and verify it. Let me take a pause and talk about interesting trend we are observing in the industry. Many software engineers nowadays are learning AI engineering skills because there is a huge demand for building AI engineering projects across many industries. To satisfy this upskilling need, we are launching a live AI engineering cohort exclusively for software engineers with minimum 2 years experience. This will be 75 days program with sessions on weekends where we will learn how to build AI engineering projects in a most practical, industry relevant way. When the cohort ends after 75 days, you will be able to build AI features in your current software application or transition to full-time AI engineering role. If you want to know more, I have placed a link of our page in a video description below. Now let's go back to our video. Now folks, in my folder, I saw only index.html files. So I had this question, where are you storing your data? and it is saying it is storing it in a browser's local storage, which is fine because we asked it to build a simple application. But I would like to save it in a local database. So now I'm saying, can you save it in a local database? How about SQLite? If you're a programmer, you can give suggestions, SQLite, Postgres, whatever. And it is saying, okay, that is fine. Then it asks me if I want to build Node.js based backend or something else. Because when you're storing data in a database, you need backend. Okay, backend can be Node.js, fast API. I will go ahead with Node.js. If you're non-technical users, don't worry. It will give you suggestions and it will say this is recommended. So you just click on it. Okay, you don't need to have in-depth knowledge. If you have in-depth knowledge as a programmer, it can help on certain occasions. Okay, so I just said Node.js, it is working on it. And here it has built the backend. So let me just check the code. So here, okay, index.html is a front-end server.js, and it has created all these modules and so on. See, the data will go to finance.db. These are the REST endpoint. You can open finance.db to view your data. So now here is saying to run cd into this and just say node server.js. Okay. So what I will do at this stage is I will open view terminal. Okay. And from this terminal, run this command node server.js. So personal finance application is running at this particular location. See, it is running now. So let me add some transactions. So I'm going to add some expenses. So I did 2 transactions. See, here it is showing up. Now let me add some income. So income, let's say this is my salary, and it is giving you a bunch of options. You can change them later. And see, these are the transactions that I have. Now I am going to close this application. Essentially, when you launch it in a new one, see, you are getting the transactions because now they are saved in our database. Wonderful. You just build front end, back end, and database. You can verify your data here. Finance DB. See, to open this, you might need some extension. So say I'm going to install this SQLite viewer. And once the extension is installed, you can double click and you can view your database. So in my database, I have one table, which is transactions. It has all these fields. Okay. And as you can see, there's a transaction ID, expense, amount, date, category, note, etc. Now you can go ahead and implement new features. Folks, you see the power of AI first coding. If you want to write code manually, this would have taken you probably 1 or 2 days. We just did it in like 30 minutes. It's like magic. Now let's talk about the different modes that you have. Here we have plan mode, which means Claude will explore the code and present a plan before editing. So if you're implementing a new feature, building a new app, you will have it in plan mode. Then ask before edits means it will ask you before it writes a block of code. Okay. I generally keep it in the third mode, which is edit automatically, so that it will not prompt you too much. Basically, you don't have to babysit it. You can also switch between the models. So here, when you type slash, see, you can switch different models that you have. This is most capable for complex work, Opus 4.6. Sonnet, you have Haiku for fastest, for quick answers, and so on. Okay, so let's go back to slash. And here, you can see your account and usage. You can clear conversation. You can mention a file. Okay. So here, for example, I want to, when you say at, if you want to make a change in any file, you can say at, and you can specify that file. Let's say articles.py. Okay. And here, if you type anything, it knows that this articles.py is in the context. Okay. Context is very important when it comes to AI first coding. So you should be aware about all these options. Now, folks, I have this another repository, which is kind of like a blogging platform. And I'm going to show you a bunch of things using this repository. So imagine you are working as a software engineer in some organization and you have this huge code base. And now you want to use Claude Code to fix issues, to implement new features and so on. How would you do it? Okay. So here, let's first run this code to see what it is doing. So I just said run the backend and then front end, and it is asking me to run this bash command. Okay. So let's run it. Once you have clear a readme.md file, it will figure out. Even if you don't have this, it will figure it out anyway. But if you have readme.md, it will make things easier for this agent. Okay, just click on yes, yes, yes. And now it is saying that backend is running on this particular port. And here you are starting the front end. Okay, so at this stage, my backend is running here. Front end is running here. So let me click on it. Okay, so here's a website where you can post your articles. So I'm just going to say publish and publish few articles. Okay, so I created this one article. I have published these two articles, and let's say one article is on yoga. So I want to see there is a bug here. So now I can talk to Claude Code and I can say, okay, can you fix that bug? So here I'm going to open a new session for Claude Code. Okay. And I will say that, see, you can just say when I search articles, it gives you this particular error. So now it's going to take that error. It will start debugging it and it will try to fix that error. So see, it found the problem. It's saying it is mismatching this query parameter. If you're a programmer, you'll review it. I reviewed it. It looks good. So I'm allowing all the edit. Now, folks, let's go ahead and research that article. Okay, so here, see, you see how easy is it to fix issues using Claude Code? Similarly, you can ask it to implement a feature. So folks, this is an exercise for you. Below the article, nowadays, you see this button where you can upvote, downvote. So go ahead and implement upvote, downvote button or some other interesting feature that you want to try it out. Now let's talk about claude.md file. Many times organizations have their coding standards, their own way of implementing things, some architecture patterns that they adhere to. You can specify all of that in claude.md file. So what you can do is go here and create this file called claude.md, and claude.md is short of like read md file for your agent. And you can specify, for example, coding standards that you want to follow. Okay. So here I'm specifying my coding standards. You can preview it here, of course. See, so I want to have coding standards where for Python use PEP8, JavaScript use ES6 plus syntax, CSS, and so on. You can also give it instructions on, let's say, package management. How in this particular project, this is how we do package management. Some projects use PEP, some projects use UV. Claude is not going to know magically all of that. So in your organization, in your team, if you have a practice that you follow, then just specify it in this. You can also give some other instructions such as, okay, like role and tone, workflow expectations, and so on. So see, essentially the Claude agent will read these instructions and then it will use them to implement features, right, and write code. You are essentially guiding the agent here. Okay. Now let's say I have this particular file where I want to make some change. Okay. In backend, I have services, and here in article service, I want to make some change. Now, not that when I click on this file here, it is adding that in your context, meaning whatever change you are doing now, it will consider this file in its main content. It can go ahead and make changes in other files also. You can also use this at, okay, you can say articles.py, and here, let's say I want to implement structure logging. Okay. So this is a Python file. I don't have logging here. So I will just say add structured logging, and that's it. It knows that it needs to add it to articles.py. It's not going to do it in all the files. It will just make change in this particular file. See here in articles.py file, now I am seeing structure logging. You see logger.info and logger.info. Now it is adding these logs at the beginning and both. If you want to change it, you can say, okay, add the logs only at the beginning. When I was working at Bloomberg and many other companies, this is a standard practice where you add logs usually at the beginning and also end, depends on the organization needs. But I used to do it only at the beginning. Okay. Now let's look at the Git integration. Here, let's say these changes look good. What you can do is now say, commit this change. So now it is going to use Git. See, Git status, Git log. Usually you will say Git add whatever, then Git commit, etc. Here with AI assisted coding, you don't need to do it. You can just run Git commands via this. See, it is running this command, Git add this, and then it will run the commit command. See, Git commit m, and this is the instruction. So I'm saying yes. And now when I do git log, see here. So when I do git log here, I'm seeing this commit ID. Look at this. This is so wonderful. Now you can take this commit ID. Okay. Let me show you a different use case. So I'm going to copy it. Now let's say you want to make similar change into some different file. I made this change in articles.py. I want to now make similar change in search.py. Okay. See, I can say add structure logging, but sometimes you have specific requirement. For example, you want to add logging only at the beginning and you want to log information in certain way. You have certain specifier. So if you have done all those changes in git commit, now what you can do is you can start a new chat. It's recommended. And you can say that now in, let's say, users.py. Okay, users, I think users.py, I will say in API. So, okay, so users.py, let me select the right one. Okay, users.py, implement changes similar to this git commit ID. So now it will look at that commit and whatever changes are there, it will do in this file. If you're a programmer, you would know that you're working on a big code base. Somebody has made some changes and 1 month down the road, you want to make similar changes in a different file. Usually what you do is go to Git, look at that commit and use your brain to transfer those changes in the new file. Now here, you can do all of that through Claude Code. Okay. So now see, it is looking at the commit ID. I did not say add structure logging or whatever. It will just look at that commit ID and it will follow the pattern and it will make those changes. There is another thing called skills.md file. So skills are folders of instructions, scripts, and resources that Claude loads dynamically to improve performance on specific tasks. Now this term dynamically is important because claude.md file that we added, okay, so we added this claude.md file, correct? This file will be loaded for every command. It's like it gets added into your context in every command. It will make your context, your prompt longer. If you have some instructions that you want Claude to load dynamically, then you will use skills.md file. Okay. So here in this Anthropic repository, they have skills. It's like, you know, people have different skills. Someone knows how to talk better. Someone knows how to play sports. These are skills. Okay. Common sense. Similarly, let's say, you are building a software for PDF, for example. Okay. And you have this PDF skill. Use this skill whenever the user wants to do anything with PDF file. It's like you're importing that skill into your project and it will guide your AI agent. Basically, let's say AI agent wants to write some code on PDF. So now it will use, let's say if you have this skills.md included in your project, it will use PyPDF. See, PyPDF. If you don't have skills.md file, then it will use common general internet knowledge. And it may end up using some other module that you don't want to use in your organization. Let's say in my organization, I have 20 different teams and we have decided, our CTO of the company has decided, organization has decided that we will use PyPDF. In that case, you can just include this file into your project. Also, you can have multiple levels of claude.md and skill.md. See, if you have claude.md at this level, it will use this. Sometimes you have nested structure. You can have multiple of them and it will use the claude.md file, which is very closest to the project. And then it can use any higher level files. Okay. So that's the short preview of claude.md and skill.md file. Now, folks, let's say we have specific guidelines for adding logging. In that case, you can have a skills file for logging. Okay. It is like logging skills. And here I can specify log only at the start of it. Always include timestamp. Use logging.info only. Do not add extra logs. Okay. And you can give this kind of boilerplate code. So now it will use these instructions to add logging and it will load skills.md file whenever is needed dynamically. It will not load it all the time like claude.md file. That's it, folks. If you have any questions, please post in the comment box below. In video description, you will find the code repository, etc. Thank you very much for watching.